welcome to my journal. If you're new around here, my name is Megan and I'm a writer, so I do all sorts of journaling and writing around here. And if you're not new around here, you might be noticing that this isn't my usual setup. I am not at my desk today because I am in Columbus, Ohio. My husband had a quick business trip this week, so I went ahead and packed up all my writing stuff and brought it here. We were able to go to a few shops and restaurants and went to the mall. And so today I am gonna do a little bit of journaling on the go with all of the ephemera I have been able to collect. Oh, I also have snacks. I have a croissant, very exciting. And I've got a white chocolate mocha. Speaking of which, we're just gonna go ahead and grab that and add that to our ephemera stack. So I may have made a little bit of an oversight. I made sure to pack my journal and my pen, and I even packed my tripod and everything. I somehow managed to not pack scissors and tape or glue or anything. So this is gonna be interesting. But I figured we could take a look at the ephemera that I have collected and kind of decide on a layout, maybe get some stuff temporarily stuck down and do our writing, and then I will head home today actually and can actually glue everything down. So far we have the coffee sleeve that I just pulled off. We've got a set of stickers because of course I had to find a stationery shop while I was traveling. So I got this from Paper Source. It has such cute little foods on here. I'm really excited to be using this. We've got a, instead of the notepad that a lot of hotels used to provide, I was really excited when I saw this because I was like, oh, they've got a notepad. No, it's one piece of cardstock, which is fine because that's all I really need. I also do pocket page scrapbooking. That's kind of where my album lives, and then this is more detailed thoughts and experiences of what I do throughout the day. So I'm thinking that this could be like 2 3x4 cards in my scrapbook. So I don't think I'm going to use that in here. Definitely keeping it though. I've got my room key pocket that I was thinking I could stick down, and I might be able to stick like pictures in here. I've got some Culver's bag stuff because we stopped at Culver's on the way here to just grab a meal. And the bag got totally destroyed somewhere in the process of like bringing it up to the room. But I pulled a few things off that I'm thinking I could cut out and stick somewhere. And then I'm really excited for this. We went to Jenny's Ice Cream, which if you are in the area, oh my gosh, you have to go. We're gonna be dreaming about this ice cream. So I kept this ice cream bowl and I brought it back to the room, took it to the sink in the bathroom and like cleaned it out, put soap in there, got it all nice and cleaned up because one thing I do not want is food residue in my journal. I'm very careful about that. But I think once I have scissors, there's no way I can do this without scissors. I'm gonna cut out the logo. And then the last thing, I got this just tourism magazine, and we need to flip through this because already this cover is adorable. I'm wondering, I might even just make that take up a whole page. It's so cute. Let's make some space to flip through that. Maybe grab another bite of croissant while I'm at it. Okay, so I feel like I've got to find something to do with this cover because that's so cute. So mostly I'm just looking for things I could use as a title, like maybe I could rip that out, or places that we went. Oh, there's Jenny's Ice Cream, which is this place. So I might rip that out real quick. Oh, that's fun. Okay, so there's an interview with Jenny too. So I'm definitely gonna need some of these ice creams, and maybe I'll pull out her interview. Although I do kind of want this yum too. Let's grab that real quick. we went to, where did we go? We went to Easton. We saw Legoland, but it was closed, which was so sad. That might be something else we do if we're back in the area. We did go to Easton Town Center though, so let me do a very careful tear around that. We'll see whether I clean up some of these tears or if I just kind of leave them like that. We'll see what I do once I have my scissors with me. If there's anything that you know about in the area, let me know, because we very well might be back and I am super down to explore some more. Yes, there's Jenny's. I don't think any of the other places we ate are in here. But let's do a quick... This is my hack for tearing things, is just do a couple of folds. And then stuff usually tears out pretty good. Well, there goes that hack. There we go. There we go. I'm gonna tear it out more than I need to make sure that I don't accidentally rip up the part that I want. Yes, we need that. Ooh, these are cute too. Ooh, the map. I think I'm definitely going to use the map somewhere. That could be a good backdrop. I definitely still want room for writing, but we can figure that out. These little logos for the different areas too are so cute. Let's tear that out. Maybe I'll grab some of those. And then that's the end of that. So I definitely need to grab the name Columbus from somewhere. Might be there. All right, let's bring the journal back in and see what we can do with what we have. Let's see. Culver's was on the way. So let me tear out a couple of the stars. And then maybe some of these speech bubbles. Let's see. I love the cream paper in my Moleskine, but I'm kind of thinking that this bright white doesn't match it super well. So I want like the map or this thing to be in the background of it, I think. Let's see if we can't get this cover off nicely. Oh, yikes, it is really glued on there. Whew. There we go. So maybe this is just a cover page. I know this feels so silly for like a 2-night trip to make a whole intro page and then all of the journaling, but I think that's probably what's gonna end up happening. Right there. There we go. I think that'll be fun. Let me figure out where that page is going to end. Somewhere around here. I'm having to do things so janky because I forgot my journal supplies. The one thing one thing I was gonna do, okay. Yeah, so that gives me a better sense of how big the page will actually be. Put that there, and I can put maybe some extra stuff and some pictures in there. So there's one page. So this will be the page where we put Culver's and these. Let me very carefully tear some stuff out so I can set up kind of what I'm thinking. There we go. See, that was what I was trying to do before. And let's get this in here. Okay, well, that kind of worked. There we go. So we definitely want that. And then let's see about getting Jenny out of here. Let this be inspiration that you don't need a whole bunch of stationery supplies in order to do your memory keeping on the go. I've been able to kind of select the stuff that I want and trash the rest, so I'm not carrying it all home with me. And I have the most important part, which is pen and paper. And I really try and focus on that even when I'm doing this like creative scrapbooky kind of journaling, that like the important part to me is having my thoughts down on paper. I even could have used the hotel pen if I had forgotten my pen, and I could have used the hotel paper if I had forgotten paper, and just get it all down, and I can stick it in some sort of organized fashion later. But that to me is the important part, is getting everything down before you forget it. I have done a decent bit of backfilling in my day because I didn't want to miss a day of journaling. I was like, oh, I have to make sure every day is documented. So I'd have just like lists of stuff I did in the day. And I feel like it loses something when I do that, because I can't remember exactly how I was feeling that day. I can write down what happened factually, but the moment is past and I can't do anything about that. So I've allowed myself to relax a lot more when it comes to journaling every day. I used to do it every day, and if I didn't get it done that day, I would write down the stuff that I did so that I could go back and fill it back in. But that just got so tiresome. I was so tired. I was getting burned out on journaling because it was a chore. And if I forgot to do it, then now I have makeup work to do. And I was not having nearly as much fun. So eventually, it was in this notebook that I decided, you know what? If I don't get to journaling that day, it's fine. Sometimes I go a whole month without writing anything down. This notebook goes from January of 2024, and we're in June 2025 now, and we're still in the same book. Which used to never happen. I would be switching notebooks every 3 months because I'd be trying to fill them up. And I don't know, it's a different season. So maybe that's something I will talk about in a future video or something. Just kind of some of the stuff I've learned from journaling for, oh my gosh, I've been doing it since 2015. I think this is my 10th year of regular, consistent journaling. So I've definitely learned a lot about how I journal well, and what's most effective for me and what's most meaningful to me, because looking back at journal entries from 10 years ago, there is a lot of stuff that I love looking back on that I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot that that was what life was like. And I love that. And then, you know, there's some stuff that it's like, you know, I really didn't need to stress myself out so bad about like, oh, I have to write down what I did every single day. 100%, I would always rather over journal than under journal. I would so much rather have way too much information. But then I do, you know, I do have some notebooks that I feel like are filled with fluff because I felt like I had to put something down. And so it's just like a bullet pointed list of, yeah, today I went to work and then I watched YouTube and then I made dinner. I would much rather know what I was feeling that day. So definitely something I could talk about in a future video because I have lots of thoughts on that. Let's see, oh my gosh, I love that the Culver's blue matches her jumpsuit. So fun. Okay. I don't want to get too caught up in aesthetics because, again, the important part is the words, but I also like pretty little bits and bobs. Let me just remove Culver's from the equation for a second. And I'm wondering if letting this page breathe a little bit is the answer. But I did really like how the blue matched up. Ooh, maybe I could use some of the stars. I think I want to go for the simpler option. Now that doesn't mean I won't use the Culver's stuff. It might just mean I do a bit more writing in between. So this needs to be my intro page. And then the ice cream page will come next. Let's see, we could use yeah, I was gonna use chicken, maybe the burger and fries. I'm trying to find something else. Maybe we use the Columbus map. Okay, I think I know what I'm gonna do just to have a bit more visual interest. Have that glued down, and then that'll just bleed a little bit onto that page, and I think I'll leave that torn. I think that'll be fun. So I want to put stuff in the general area where it'll end up in the spread so that I can go ahead and do some writing. So the date will go there. I will use my date stamp when I get home. I do need to decide whether I'm going to backdate. So basically write from the perspective as if it was 2 days ago, or if I just want to stamp it with today and then say what we've been doing for the past couple of days. I think I'm gonna do that. I think in the spirit of not stressing myself over backdating and backfilling, I think I am going to just date that with today. And then I'll write like this weekend or this week we've been away. So let's do that. So I'm at the end of this page. It's a very good thing that I separated these out. Okay. fold that, fold my page, and then this is gonna be the going to the mall page. Kind of like that, layered like that. And then maybe the stars will go on that as a little cluster. Okay, so where did oh gosh, I have to figure out where I left off. Told, okay. That's where I'm gonna stop for now. I have a bit more time before I need to check out, but I've pretty much caught up to like right now. Maybe I'll trim this down and then just squeeze whatever's left of today into this little bit. Maybe when I get home I'll fill in that like I checked out and we drove home. Or maybe I'll let that go on to the next page. I'm not sure yet because I don't think anything else interesting is going to happen today. I hope not, because we're traveling and interesting things are never good when you're driving or flying or anything like that. So we're going to hope that nothing interesting happens. So I should really just be packing up all my stuff. I will keep some of these extra scraps around until I get home, just in case. But I'm gonna stack this all up for later. And then these I'm just gonna keep pressed into the notebook for safekeeping. But for now, I will see you at home. And we are home. I don't know if you remember when I said, I hope nothing interesting happens on the way home, because that's never good. Oh my gosh. We drove through the worst storm and ended up actually having to like pull over because a tree fell down in the road, probably like 100 feet ahead of us. But we made it through and we got it all figured out. So that is definitely going to have to be something I document. Because first, I want to get everything glued down. And then I will figure out where my awesome, exciting story of the tree almost falling on our car, where that goes. And I went ahead and printed some pictures to tuck in here. I'm actually filming the next morning because it was such an eventful night. We just wanted to chill out as soon as we got home. So what I did was get some pictures printed, and I went ahead and printed, oh boy, you're not gonna be able to see that. So these are the pictures I got printed for my scrapbook. And this is what serves as more of, I guess, our family album, I suppose. It's where I put kind of I could put this on the coffee table and people can flip through it and we can, reminisce about stuff. Whereas my journal is much more personal stuff. It's got a lot of personal thoughts and feelings, and nobody's really going to want to look through this except for me, which is part of why I don't usually put a ton of pictures in here, because that's all in my scrapbook. But there was a spot for it, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. First, we are going to need some glue and some tape. And I will just cut this along the folds that I made while I was still at the hotel. All right, let's see how that fits. When it comes to my tapes, I kind of just grab whatever feels right. I think this is what I'm gonna use to stick down this, just because it's so big. I feel like this is gonna be some nice kind of heavy duty tape. So generally, the Scotch stuff isn't my favorite, but it also, like, it works. And I am all for using what you have. Now let's get that lined up. Perfect, okay. Go ahead and right there, I think. Okay, and then I've got all these bits and bobs from the week. I tried to make like a photo strip, but it totally printed wrong, so it's kind of a photo strip. I'm fine with that. Totally not worth reprinting. Now this is, because this key card holder had so much thick stuff in it, I feel like these are gonna super easily slide. So maybe I'll grab like some paper clips or something. I do want to make sure stuff isn't falling out totally all over the place. And unless I add anything else, that finishes up this page. That went super quickly. I'm a big fan of doing this all while I'm out and on the go, so that it's all done when I get home, and so that I know that I marked everything down while it was happening and I didn't forget anything. So let's trim down this page next the same way. Maybe I'll leave a little bit more overhang, just in case, and we can trim it down once it's on the page. Okay, tape that down. Really make sure that I'm getting to the corners, because that's what I'm most concerned about sticking. And I'll just do one big strip in the middle, just to make sure. Nice, okay. And then I'm gonna use the glue stick on this last little bit to make sure I get all of that torn edge, because I am a fan of leaving that torn. I'm gonna have to decide if I want to cut that down more. I think I do. I think I want to get rid of the paper bag on that. And then I'm going to do a little bit of fussy cutting. Okay. Again, making sure I get all of these little points glued so that they don't start peeling up. I think this turned out cute. It's really simple, but I think I like that about it. Now this page is what I'm a little not concerned about, but I am thinking this is going to take a little longer because there are a lot of bits and pieces. I'm going to have to cut some stuff out real quick. I want to cut up this cup. Maybe I'll do that first. I would just use scissors, but the lip of this is really thick. I think I would hurt my scissors. So my plan is to use a craft knife to get in there. And I use scissors on the rest of it. There we go. Perfect. Oh, that's gonna be so cute. Perfect. Oh, that's gonna be so cute somewhere. Okay. Where am I gonna put that? It could fit right in there. So let's cut some stuff out and see where that leaves us. Okay, now that I got everything cut out, I think I know where I want everything to go. So that just leaves this little space up here and this long space over here. I'll go ahead and start gluing stuff down, and then I think I'm gonna finish off the blank spots with some washi. Let's start with this. Okay, so now all that's left is these little bits and bobs, and then maybe a washi tape. Let's see. I think I like that. Put those down up there. And then I'm a big fan of that down there, I think, because I think the red should be spread out across the page. And then that leaves these. That could go there. I think it should go somewhere over here. I still need something here, but that's not gonna fit. Not comfortably, at least. So I'm thinking maybe it can just squeeze between those two lines. It's a little busy, but I don't think I mind that much. So let's go ahead and start sticking some of this down. Little cutout of the ice cream. So cute. Big reveal. Will the glue hold down this plastic nicely? It seems to be holding well. It's bending the page a little bit because the cup was bent, obviously. Luckily, this page is backed by the magazine page, so hopefully Hopefully that's thick enough that it holds the page in place. Yeah. Could also do just a little strip of that. I think that's done. Now our next question is how I'm gonna wrap this up, because I definitely still need to document checking out of the hotel and then the absolutely wild ride home we had. Here's what we'll do. Let's go through what we have left in here. And I've still got this map. I was thinking I was going to put it in my scrapbook in one of the pockets, but I filled those up really fast. So I still have this. It's like in there. I think I'm going to start writing here. So let's do that, and then I can adjust how much map is showing based on how much space is left. Figured that would happen, that I would have a lot to say about getting caught up in the storm, because that was a lot. So I ended up tearing off a lot of this map that was hanging off onto this page, but now I can go ahead and glue down those scraps. And I had pulled these extra scraps out just in case I needed a little something to fill in the rest of the page, but that wasn't a problem because I yapped. Pop those in there. And then with that, I should be just about done with journaling this trip. I do think it's funny just how many pages I got out of what was essentially just like a 48-hour trip, but that's kind of just how it goes sometimes. So let me give you a nice flip through of these final pages. We've got our sort of title page with pictures from the week just kind of tucked in here. We've got the beginning of the trip with our Culvers and our city map. We've got our Jenny's ice cream page, which I am so pleased with. It's so cute. And oh my gosh, I'm going to be thinking about that ice cream for a long time. And then our very eventful drive home. And that wraps it up. Thank you so much for sticking with me through this video while I did a very very special, unique way of journaling on the go without having any journal supplies, and honestly, pretty excited about how it turned out for just how wild of a situation this was. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you next time.